So I wanted to do a quick video about Aries. I'm kind of reflecting a little bit about the sign of Aries because the Sun is in Aries and Mercury is in Aries and Chiron and North Node are in Aries, and it feels like an apt time to do a little bit of a reflection on Aries. And we'll have an eclipse in Aries on the 8th of April, so coming up soon. And so I wanted to do a little reflection on Aries, some of my thoughts about Aries. So I'm in Aries myself. I have Sun in Aries, Mercury in Aries, and possibly rising in Aries, although I doubt that a little bit sometimes, just because it's a little bit confusing for me. But if my birth time is correct, I would have Aries rising. But Sun and Mercury are definitely in Aries. And so I wanted to talk about Aries. So Aries is the first sign of the zodiac, and a lot of the descriptions that we would read about when it comes to Aries is that Aries wants to initiate things and to go after what it wants, right? And while that might be simplistically stated at times, there is a truth to it. As an energy, Aries wants to be sort of independent, individualistic, carve its own path, to start things, maybe not as good as finishing things or following through on things, depending on other things in the chart. Personally, I have trouble with that at times because I have Mars and Gemini and things like that. But Aries as an energy is, I always like to think of it as like it's coming into the world, and it's like you're just taking it in, and you're a baby, and you're just taking it in, and it's all about your own needs and your own viewpoint. Like what is my viewpoint? What is my what do I want to initiate? What do I want to do? So I think all Aries people, or people with prominent Aries placements, have that in them, even if it's not super obvious, right? And I did a video on the introverted Aries a while back, which I might link in this video, which was about how some Aries people are more introverted and why that might be. Some of my theories about that and what I have observed. So, but all planets, when they're in Aries, they take on this kind of coloring or this clothing that is about optimistically going towards what it wants, in a way, right? There's an element of that with Aries, right? So it's not about dwelling, it's not about the past, it's about what is my viewpoint, what is my desire, what is my goal, what is my thing that I want to initiate. And so planets that are in Aries take on that kind of coloring. Venus in Aries might be very sort of quick in romantic situations, or just quick with initiating friendships or relationships. Maybe not the one that plays hard to get or something like that. Of course, it can depend on other things, like I keep saying, but Venus in that case would take on the coloring of Aries. So it's kind of quick, it's about positive energy, initiating things, sometimes impulsiveness. Aries can also have to do with an element of anger, right? That is part of Aries. Aries represents this kind of raw, ruled by Mars, like this kind of raw, primal anger that can drive you to do things, or it can drive you to be irritated or irritating for other people, right? It all depends on the way that the Aries placements are living themselves out in you in that moment, right? It can vary from time to time. Like when I was a kid, I was much more energetic. I would have times where I was very impulsive, and now I'm more reserved, and there's certain things that have changed. Like it feels quite significantly. Like it feels like there's certain things that have changed in me quite significantly, but I'm still an Aries at heart. Like I still have those Aries placements that are wanting to be like independent and individualistic, and like what is my agenda. Even if sometimes I do lose sight of my agenda, I do have Sun square Neptune, for example. That makes it a lot more difficult for me to always know what my agenda really is. It's kind of like a loss of self in a way with Neptune. But the energy is still there, even if it's a little bit hidden, right? And so I think with these placements in Aries that we've got going on right now, it's kind of like an invitation to look at how you can improve things, look at how you can change things in your life, right? Because Aries is not about dwelling; it doesn't want to dwell. Aries is about going towards the new, right? Initiation, newness. Like I say, it's like a baby, just a young child looking at everything with wonder and trying to see, what is my opinion about this? What is my opinion about that? What am I taking in? What is forming my views and my personality? What are those things that are forming me? How can I develop my own identity, right? Or there's certain identity themes going on with Aries, right? So I think when planets are kind of traveling through Aries, it's a way for us to observe our own actions in terms of maybe our anger, our identity, any themes to do with identity. It's a way for us to reflect on our identity, how we can improve on our relationship with ourselves, right? How we can, as opposed to Libra, which would be our relationships with other people, right? So it's about how we can improve our relationship with ourselves. How can I improve on maybe asserting myself and telling people what I want and how I want things done. It's about reflecting on our own personality, our own actions, our own viewpoints, our own identity, right? And it's doing it in a graceful way, I think, because Aries can be sometimes not so graceful with certain things. So it's about, because Aries is very sort of raw energy. It's very almost childlike in its wonder, in a way. It's very honest. It doesn't want to like put a fancy coat on things, right? It just wants to experience things as they are and to express things as they are, as they see it, right? But with Aries, there's a certain level of tact, and because they're very sincere, but there's a level of tact and a level of sort of certain tact, I would say, yeah, that the Aries planets need to learn. So if we're learning anything in the Aries periods, when there's an eclipse in Aries, or when there's a lot of planets or points traveling through Aries, which there are right now, and the eclipse is coming up soon, it's like it gives us a chance to really immerse ourselves in the energy that is very positive when it comes to being able, like it's an energy that serves this idea of like sitting down and reflecting on how to express yourself with more tact, right? Or how to assert yourself and what you want, what your needs are, what are my needs, what are my wants and desires, and how do I express those in a way that is straightforward, but also not too rude or lacking tact, right? We need to take a little bit of that. We need to incorporate some of that Libra energy almost with Aries, right? Which is the opposite sign. So, but I think also, with the North Node in Aries, it's also about that we need to move towards more straightforward thinking and talking as well. So there's like a contradiction in what I'm saying here, but I think with North Node in Aries, it can be the case for a lot of people that they need to actually learn how to take accountability for their own needs and to actually be more straightforward, depending on your own personal placements. But some people need to be more straightforward and more, but still not lose any of their tact, but to be a bit more straightforward in expressing what their needs are and what they want and who am I. And so that's something that Chiron in Aries, I think, is dealing with and bringing about kind of in society and in people right now. Also, I have Sun in Aries. The kind of, Chiron was, I'm not sure what degree it's on now, but it was conjunct my Sun at one point. Possibly still is. I'm not really sure about the degrees right now, but My sun is at 10 degrees of Aries. So it was, for me, I made a video about Chiron, transiting Chiron conjunct Sun as well a while back. And so it is like, for me, and I think for a lot of people right now in society, it's kind of like we're healing our wounds when it comes to our own identity and what makes us unique and special, right? So it's about learning what makes me unique and special, and how can I express that in a way that is straightforward so that people can understand it, right? But without losing some of our tact either. So it's not about being aggressive or going towards people with like this aggression or this anger, which Aries can do in its negative expressions. So it's about harnessing the positive expressions of Aries, right? The straightforwardness, the assertiveness, right? And you know, we all kind of have like all the signs in us, so we have all the spectrum of human experience. But when Aries is in focus, what is in focus then is the need to be assertive, courageous, brave in expressing what you want and need, energetic, enthusiastically coming up with ideas. And then it's about incorporating other things, right? So it's about incorporating a bit of Libra. It's about incorporating other things that complete this experience, because we're never having just an Aries experience. There's other things going on. But the Aries planets, or when something is in Aries, it takes on this coat of wanting to be, like, it wants to express itself in a way that is straightforward. It wants to be straightforward, and it wants to be individualistic and independent, and kind of taking accountability and owning themselves. Like, who am I and what do I want? So I just wanted to give a few words for people to reflect on when it comes to Aries and the upcoming eclipse. So that is it for now. So I do appreciate you watching. If you want more content from me, do subscribe and leave a thumbs up if you enjoyed this, and leave a comment if you have any thoughts about this. So thank you for watching.